Disability being a global issue would mean what you would come across, say, in Kenya, in terms of the disabilities you will meet and so on, are likely to be the same that you will come across, say, if you go to Siberia, to Finland, to the Congo, and any other place. The difference usually will be how that particular region or country handles their people who are living with disabilities, in terms of the infrastructure they have in place, in terms of the awareness that their people have, so that they are handling and living with these people with disabilities from a point of information and not hearsay. Hello guys, and welcome to Naomi's All-Inclusive World, where today we will be looking at the facts that surround the world of those living with disabilities and what we need to know and go by when we are interacting and living with them. Now, before I dive into the facts that surround the world of those living with disabilities, I would like to quickly look at what is not a disability. The first issue that needs to be clarified to be not a disability is albinism. People living with albinism are not disabled. However, it will only be if they have other underlying conditions that hinder them from being able to maneuver around their daily life that will qualify them to be with a disability, but not albinism in itself. The second issue that is not a disability is people with extra weight. Different regions have different references to them. Say maybe in Kenya, they would call them obese people. In other parts of the world, say for the US, they call them as people of size or persons of size. But at the end of the day, these are people who have extra weight. And this in itself does not make them disabled, does not make them have a disability. Again, it will be what comes with the extra weight, which will be things like probably, sugar issues, blood pressure issues, and so on, that will then put them in the category of those living with disabilities and not just the extra weight in itself. Another issue that is not a disability is dwarfism. People who are extremely short, that most of the time they are confused or mistaken for children. They are, easily just not noticed because they move around so easily and, without being noticed. They are just short. They have dwarfism, which is a condition, but not necessarily a disability. Another category of people that are not living with disabilities are expectant mothers. Pregnancy has a season or has a duration, and therefore during that period of pregnancy, that lady is not living with a disability. An expectant mother would move around and do her house chores. She will move around, she'll go to the medical facility, she'll move around to go to shopping for her child that is on the way. So unless also this pregnant or expectant mother has any other condition, just them being pregnant is not then being disabled. Another issue or category of people that are not living with disability necessarily are those people with epilepsy. Until that condition manifests itself, that person who has epilepsy is very alright. They are able to move around on their own, they are able to do stuff on their own. So until they are in that phase where epilepsy manifests, they are not living with disability, they are not disabled. And lastly, another group of people who are not living with a disability are men with big bellies. Just because a man has a big belly from, say, too much alcohol or too much meat or their lifestyle, a big belly in itself does not render that man to have a disability. Now, number one fact I would like to look at is not all disabilities are permanent or temporary. Every disability is very unique in itself, and therefore, depending on how it will be handled, how it was acquired, and all that will determine whether or not it goes away after a while. The second fact we need to know about the world of those living with disabilities is that not all disabilities are hereditary. Some of them will be acquired along the way, along the life's daily happenings, and therefore don't look at my disability and already conclude that it is hereditary, that I picked it up from my parents or from, my lineage. A disability or lack of it does not make you a good person. It's the impact that you bring to society, it's the influence that you bring on board that will make you a good person. So a disability or lack of it does not make you a good person automatically. And lastly, persons with disabilities go through life challenges just like the rest of the world. They fight with gender issues, they have socioeconomic issues that affect them, they go through depression, sexual assault. Some of them actually also are dealing with HIV and AIDS. Some of them still have learning disabilities, substance abuse, and many other things that people who necessarily don't have disabilities still face. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and drop me a comment if you would like to. And I'll see you in my next video, where I will be sharing information about etiquette when it comes to interacting with people living with disabilities.